Good morning to all of you. Once again, I welcome all of you in today's lecture. In the last lecture, we were saying that the uh, Atal Tunnel, the constructions of the Atal Tunnel, and the important aspect of the constructions and the important information regarding about why the Atal Tunnel was constructed. Now, as far as the your curriculum point of view, this is the other than our syllabus also. Okay, the last article is remaining only as per our curriculum in case of the module number 6, that is the disaster management. Okay, that article is only remaining. So in today's lecture, as far as concerned with the advanced construction technology, we are going to see what advanced construction is going on. So in the last lecture, we were seeing that the construction aspect, some important aspect regarding about the Atal Tunnel. Okay. Now in today's lecture, we are going to see again some of the important aspect, some of the important construction aspect, that is the Samruddhi Mahamarg. Okay. So I would like to share with all of you the today's presentation. So before that, I would like to give you some of the important information regarding about the Samruddhi Mahamarg. So basically, this expressway, we called it as a expressway, which belongs to the Mumbai to Nagpur, and the main advantages of this particular expressway is we can travel within the 8 hours with the super communication expressway, on which you can say uh, uh, we called it as a Maharashtra Samruddhi Mahamarga. A super communication expressway is expected to ready by the end of 2020. So the main, if you see here, there are main 10 district which belongs to this Samruddhi Mahamarga. So I would like to share with all of you this presentation. So my voice is audible. Hello.
Yes, sir.
Okay. So as far as concerned with the Samruddhi Mahamarga, so the Samruddhi Mahamarga is divided into various category. Okay. So as far as our Aurangabad to Jaffna to the Aurangabad, it belongs to the package number 3. Okay. So first I would like to share with all of you a certain aspect regarding about the Samruddhi Mahamarga. So the presentation index, if you see here, the content of the today's presentation, some of the preamble, we have the preamble to the session, then benefit of the project, then there was certain barriers when it is proposed for the construction, certain barrier was there, but how to overcome that barrier, we will talk about that barrier also. Then we have the EIA processes. So this EIA process is one of the important aspect while constructions of the any major project. Okay. So what is basically EIA, and how the EIA will sanction any project, and what are the basic concept regarding about these processes in case of the highway project. we will see. Then impact assessment in tabular format. So after constructions of this particular highway, okay, that is the Samruddhi Mahamarga. So what is its impact on the environment, and what are its various advantages in the tabular. Then the impact predictions also. So generally due to the constructions of that, so many advantages is there, but any kinds of the disadvantages will be there. We will see what is the impact and how to overcome that in this article. Then impact mitigation will be there, and EMP. So what do you mean by the EMP, and what is the functions of this particular EMP? We will see when we will come to this point. Okay. So this is the presentation outline, today's presentation outline. Then as far as concerned with the government of India, the government of India has planned the Nagpur Mumbai Expressway, that is called as NMEW. Okay. So which tends to divert redistribute the heavy traffic on the existing corridors. Okay. So from the Nagpur to Mumbai Expressway, whatever may be the district is coming in between this project, we will see the important districts also. Then the proposed Nagpur Mumbai Expressway is being implemented by Maharashtra State Road Development Corporation, that is MSRDC. We called it as a MSRDC, Maharashtra State Road Development Corporation. So this particular expressway will pass through the 10 district from Wardha through Marathwada to Konkan region. Okay. So belong this expressway, there are 10 main districts. Okay. If you see here, another important aspect regarding about this expressway is that the total estimated land requirement of this particular highway was 10,000 hectare. A huge land we have acquired, means the government are acquired 10,000 hectare for developing 701.128 kilometer of expressway. So the length of the expressway is, if you see here, 701.128 kilometer, and this will meet through the land pooling instead of the traditional land acquisition method. So while acquiring the land, this method was used, that is the land pooling, okay, instead of the traditional land acquisition method. So what do you mean by the land pooling? What is the traditional land acquisition method? We will also discuss this point later. So here highlight of the land pooling means what? The land pooling is a model where farmers and plot owners transfer land ownership right to the government or the developing agency which develop the space by building roads and other infrastructure. So this is the concept behind the land pooling. Okay. Then as far as concerned with the our in case of the Aurangabad to Jalna, okay, region, this include the package number 3. So the Nava village will be there, then Jalna Taluka, Jalna district border to Sarula village, Vaijapur Taluka, then Aurangabad district border in Aurangabad division. So under this the package 3, these are the important villages, and the 2 district will come in case of the Samruddhi Mahamarga. So this is about the preamble for this particular Samruddhi Mahamarga. Okay. Now here if you see in this map, okay, so from the Nagpur to Mumbai, so there are so many villages, so many district will be there, including our Marathwada region also. So the main important 10 district will be there in case of the Samruddhi Mahamarga, that is the Nagpur, then Aurangabad, Wardha, Jalna, Amravati, Ahmednagar, Washim, Nashik, Buldana, Thane. So these are the 10 main districts which belongs to this particular Samruddhi Mahamarga. Okay, Maharashtra Samruddhi Mahamarga. So the main advantages of behind constructions of the Samruddhi Mahamarga is to reduce the travel distance. Okay, for example, if you want to travel from any district, okay, so if you construct this particular expressway, which called it as a Samruddhi Mahamarg, then the travel time will be reduced. That is the main advantages. Then easy access from any type, any parts of this particular city, okay, will be easily. So you can access, for example, if you want to export your goods from one district to another district, so with the help of this particular highway, you can import or export any kinds of within the this particular area, means within this district or out of this district also, the another benefit. So this is the main importance, and see, for any kinds of the smart nations, okay, so such kind of construction if there, then we called it as a smart nations. So this is one of the important stage or important step towards the smart India. Okay, then these are the some of the project benefit. So saving in travel time. So the first benefit is the saving in travel time. So from faster vehicle speed and reduction in the congestion on existing long route, and the projected overall saving in the travel time and fuel consumption, and it will also reduce the emission of the dust, then reduce cargo delay from transfer faster traffic speed and reduction in the travel time. Then also we can achieve reduce vehicle operation cost uh, from improved riding surface, road, then reduce road maintenance cost from higher quality infrastructure, better and transfer connectivity will bring the development in the region. So these are the main or major advantages. We can save the travel time, then we can reduce the dust, okay, then fuel consumption also we can minimize, then reduce vehicle operation cost is the another benefit or advantages. Then reduce road maintenance also, because from the higher quality infrastructure you will be get the reduced road maintenance cost. So these are the major advantages, benefit this particular highway. Then also I would like to show you some of the important aspect as far as concerned with the this particular highway. Okay, so if you see here some of the important aspect, Mumbai to Nagpur in just 8 hours, okay, via a new expressway, we called it as Samruddhi Mahamarga. A super communication expressway is expected to ready by the end of 2020. So as far as concerned with this particular expressway, it takes anywhere between 14 to 15 hours to complete a journey between two cities. So according to the report, the land acquisition process of the project with the cost 55,000 crores. Okay, so we required 55,000 crores of the rupees for land acquisition only. Then for this particular expressway, moreover with the in place and development work has been begun on several, that is the total distances is 701 kilometer along Maharashtra Samruddhi Mahamarga corridor. So in case of the project completion, it will complete around at the end of 2020 or at the end of 2021. Okay. So some of the important aspect, if you see here, according to Maharashtra Samruddhi Mahamarga project website, the Mumbai Nagpur Super Communication Expressway will bring down the Mumbai and Nagpur journey time to 8 hours. Okay. Mumbai to Aurangabad to 4 hours and Aurangabad to Nagpur to 4 hours only. So this is the main important aspect of this particular project. So we will reduce the travel time Mumbai to Aurangabad in only in 4 hours and Aurangabad to Nagpur just in 4 hours. Okay. Then the Mumbai Nagpur Super Communication Expressway will pass through the 10 districts Thane, Nashik, Ahmednagar, Jalna, Aurangabad, Buldana, Washim, Amravati, Wardha, and Nagpur. So these are the 10 districts. Then having a width of how much is the width of this particular expressway? The width is 120 meter with a central median 22.5. Okay, the total width is 120 meter. A huge width will be there. Then if you see here, it include eight lane. The lane of this particular expressway is 8 and 8 lane, 4 lane on each side. So on for example, this is the center line of the expressway, and from the center line on right side there are 4 lane, on left side there are you can say the 4 lane. So total lane for this expressway is 8 lane. So in emergency case, okay, is for the future expansion, as far as concerned with the future expansion, if there is a need to increase the lane, then that also consider while planning of this particular expressway. So the highway will include over 50 flyovers. So from the Mumbai, okay, from the Thane to Nagpur. So if you see here, main 10 district will be there. So during this entire, you can say the total length, 701 kilometer. The total number of flyovers, if you see, 50 numbers of flyovers we have to construct. Then 24 interchanges will be there, and more than 5 small tunnel, and more than 400 vehicular and other 300 pedestrian underpass at a strategic location. So this is the main things I would like to mention here. We have to construct 50 flyovers during this journey, 24 interchange, more than 5 tunnels, and more than 400 vehicular and other 300 pedestrian underpass at a strategic location. So as per the planning, these are the things we have to taken into consideration while planning of this particular you can say expressway. The highway project has been envisioned as a zero fatality Mahamarg. Additionally, it will provide with CCTV facility, okay, as well as free telephone booth at every 5 kilometer in order to allow the reporting in case of any emergency. So at there will be a facility of CCTV. Then at every 5 kilometer there will be a facility of telephone. So if there any accident will happen on the roadway, then we can easily report in case of the any emergency. Then other feature of the expressway include tunnel lighting, then bridge beautification will be there, then extensive landscaping will be there, then improved street lighting, rainwater harvesting, and digital signals. So these facilities also on the that particular highway. The Mumbai Nagpur Super Communication Expressway will also have the facility to runway for their fighter jet and aircraft in war-like situation and emergencies. So this facility is also there. In case this facility means a runway for lighter fighter jet also, and aircraft in war-like situation and emergency. So this is the something the major you can say the advantages of this particular highway also. Then the entry and the exit, okay, of the Mumbai Nagpur Super Communication Expressway will manage via toll. which will be changed on the basis of distance travel. The toll collection is expected to be automated. So whatever may be the toll will be there, the collection of that toll is automated. Then service roads, okay, on both sides will be connected with underpasses. The utility Mahamarg along the proposed expressway will have the gas pipeline, electricity line, then the underground cables also, that is the OFC cables. Then the Maharashtra Samruddhi Mahamarg project, which is being implemented by MSRTC, aim at providing and uh, impact on the overall development of the state. Then the rural area, which is connected with the all districts, okay, so as to attract the domestic as well as foreign investment. So the Mumbai Nagpur Super Communication Expressway project, then linking JNPT in Mumbai and in Nagpur will include the feeder network connecting the foreign 14 neighboring district to the this particular highway. So this is the some of the important aspect of this particular highway. Okay, so come to the project benefit. So the reduction in the exhaust emission, then reduced accidents will be there, mainly as a result of reduced travel time and congestion, but also because of the provision of safety infrastructure and warning sign. So through this latter element was impossible to quantify. It was, however, estimated that the benefit from a 50% reduction in the accident cost. So this is the main advantages of this particular project. A large volume of generated traffic is, however, also forecast. Uh, uh, this, uh, this is traffic simulated by the reduction in travel cost and which is associated with a new economic development. The benefits calculated summation from the improve access to the nearby growth center, new business, including that from the increase passing trade. So then some of the barrier also there in case of the constructions of this Samruddhi Mahamarg. First barrier is the disturbance caused to nearby wildlife and settlement. Okay, so due to the constructions of this particular expressway Samruddhi Mahamarga, so the disturbance will be there nearby the wildlife, means in case of the forest will be there, then there will be a disturbance to the wild animals which live in the forest and the settlement also. Then there will be a dust pollution, okay, and increased sediment deposit in the water body. So due to the construction, okay, due to the excavation of the land for the purpose of that highway, so the silting problem will be there when the rainfall will occurs. So along the flow, okay, some of the sediment may flows away with the water and it may reach to the river or nala, and ultimately that silting problem may cause damp into the dam, pond or lake. So there will be a problem of the silting also. Then a small scale erosion will be there. Erosion will also a problem. Then the another barrier is the health hazard among the construction worker and those residing in nearby settlement. So whatever may be the nearby locality will be there. So the health problem will be there, and the permanent loss of about 26.887 hectare forest. So the forest will be reduced at an about 26.887 hectare.
Patan sir.
Okay.
Dr. S. D. Shinde, I want to interact with the student for 1 minute.
Okay, okay.
All the final year student, I request you, I appeal you kindly, we have displayed the notice or schedule for CA2. So after 15 December, your CA2 will be conducted by respective subject teacher. So before that, kindly pay your remaining fees, whatever the installment given by director sir in the month of October, in the month of November, kindly pay before CA2. So that was the notice I want to share with you. Patan sir,
Yes.
also instruct the student before CA2 kindly pay the remaining fees. Huh?
Yes. Yes.
Okay, thank you very much, sir. Patan sir. Thank you very much.
Okay.
And if possible, try to donate blood today. Today, the director sir has organized blood donation camp. So if possible, come in college and try to donate the blood. Thank you. Thank you very much.
So after sufficient instruction by the Shinde sir, we will continue to the lecture. The permanent loss of the forest, okay, then 1858 hectare of non-forest land. So this is the main disadvantages, and felling 5309 trees existing on this particular land. So this is the you can say the barrier or the disadvantages of this. So to overcome this, that is the challenges. Then EIA processes. So what is EIA? Environment assessment impact. Environment impact assessment. Okay. So environment impact assessment, that is known as the EIA. So how the EIA process will be done for any kinds of the project. So these are the stages or stepwise. So first, the processes in case of the EIA, it is the first step. So basically, I would like to share with all of you the process of the EIA. So what is EIA basically? So environment impact assessment or EIA, we can define as the study, okay, to predict the effect of a proposed activity or a project on the environment. So whatever may be the effect or the hazards on any kinds of the project, we can assess with the help of this government agency. We called it as a environment impact assessment. It took the decision. So a decision making tool, EI compare various alternative for a project, okay, and seek to identify the one which represent the best combination of economic and environment cost and the benefit, okay. So this is EIA means what? Environment impact assessment. It is a government agency or government body which look into various aspect, okay. It look into consideration while constructions of any project. So it will grant any time kind of the project. So its role and responsibility is that uh, he do the benefit cost analysis. What are the various benefit of that project and how much cost will require to complete that project. If the benefit cost ratio is greater than 1, then it will gives the permission, otherwise no. So by this particular government agency or government body, it look into considerations the various aspect, okay. So that is about a small introduction part of the EIA, okay. So basically uh, it evaluate any kinds of the project, then a certain evaluation theory will be there, how it will assess any kinds of the project. Then certain history will be there. uh, EIA was started basically in 1976 to in between the 77 for the impact assessment, and it will gives the permission for the constructions of any kinds of the project, okay. He list out, this particular body list out the various advantages benefit of that project as far as concerned with the society also, as far as concerned with the nation, okay. And what is the disadvantages of that project, how to overcome that disadvantages. all may consider this particular body, okay, which known as EIA. And these are the processes in case of the EIA. So we are going to see the processes in case of our slide, how the EIA will conduct the processes. So the first step while giving the permission to the road construction or any kinds of the project, the first step is screening. So it is the first stages of EIA which determine whether the proposed project require an EIA or not. If required, then level of assessment required. Okay. Then in case of the second step, scoping means what is the scope for that project, why one should do that project or why it is required. So this stage identify the key issue and the impact that should be further investigated. This study also define the boundary and the time limit of the project. Okay. So as far as concerned with the second stage, so what is the scope for that project? We should look into consideration. Then as far as concerned with the stage number 3 or step number 3, we do the this body will do the impact analysis. So the stage of EIA define the prediction like environmental and social impact of the proposed project and evaluate its significance. So what was the or what will be the impact of that project as far as concerned with the social, economical, then cultural. So many aspects he look into consideration, and also it evaluate its significance in case of the stage number 3. Then mitigation. Okay, as far as concerned with the stage number 4, mitigation. This stage in EIA recommend the action to reduce and avoid the potential adverse environmental consequence of the development activities. Okay. So then the step number 5, that is the reporting. The stage represent the result of EIA in the form of report to the decision making body and other interested parties, and then review of EIA stage number uh, so it examine the adequacy and effectiveness of the EIA report and provide the information necessary for decision making. And then step number 7 will come, that is the decision making. It decides whether the project is acceptable, rejected, or need further improvement. Okay. So the decision after review of the project, then this government agency will decide this project is give more advantages rather than the less disadvantages. Okay. And it will acceptable or rejected. If the benefit cost ratio is greater than 1, then the government body will accepted that project, otherwise it may reject it. Then post monitoring, stage number step number 8. At this stage comes to play once the project is accepted, okay, sanction. It check the ensure that the impact of the project does not exceed the legal standard and implementation of mitigation measure are as in manner as described in the EIA report. So these are the impact assessment, how it will do the impact assessment. So as far as concerned with the various parameters, negative impact and positive impact, so how much parameter along the both sides of the alignment of the roadway or highway. So these are the certain things we have to enlist in the form of parameter and their details also. So before this, I would like to play one of the important videos regarding about this project, that is the uh, Samruddhi Mahamarga.
महाराष्ट्र समृद्धी महामार्ग आणि त्यावरील नियोजित कृषी समृद्धी केंद्रे याविषयीचा पहिला भाग. नागपूरपासून सुरू होणारा आणि संपूर्ण महाराष्ट्राच्या विकासामध्ये महत्त्वाचे योगदान देत मुंबईपर्यंत जाणारा हा महामार्ग, साधारणपणे पूर्व पश्चिम जाणारा हा प्रस्तावित द्रुतगती महामार्ग सुमारे 700 किलोमीटर असेल. तो महाराष्ट्राच्या 27 तालुक्यात जवळजवळ 400 गावांमधून जाणार आहे. या नियोजित महामार्गामुळे 10 जिल्हे प्रत्यक्ष जोडले जातील आणि 14 जिल्हे प्रभावाखाली येतील. महाराष्ट्रातील जास्तीत जास्त प्रदेशाला दळणवळणासाठी एक सुरक्षित गतिमान महामार्ग उपलब्ध होणार आहे. विना अडथळा आणि द्रुतगती असल्यामुळे हा महामार्ग तेथील जमिनीच्या कमीत कमी 3 मीटर उंचीवरूनच नेण्यात येईल, तर काही ठिकाणी तो 6 मीटर उंचीवरून सुद्धा जाणारा असेल. हा द्रुतगती महामार्ग असल्यामुळे जास्तीत जास्त मोकळ्या अविकसित भूभागावरून नियोजित केलेला आहे. हा महामार्ग कुठलेही शहर किंवा गाव यांच्या मधून किंवा अगदी जवळून गेला नसेल. शहर किंवा गावाच्या भविष्यात होणाऱ्या भौगोलिक विस्ताराच्या कक्षा विचारात घेऊन या महामार्गाची आखणी केलेली आहे. महाराष्ट्रातील वर्धा, अमरावती, बुलढाणा, वाशिम, जालना, औरंगाबाद, नगर, नाशिक आणि इतर शहरे ही सध्या अस्तित्वात असलेल्या रस्त्यांनीच या नियोजित समृद्धी महामार्गाशी जोडली जाणार आहेत. अनेक राज्य व राष्ट्रीय महामार्ग असे आहेत जे या जिल्ह्यांमधून किंवा शहरांमधून जातात. उदाहरणार्थ राष्ट्रीय महामार्ग क्रमांक 161, 52, 60 यापैकी जे राष्ट्रीय महामार्ग उत्तर दक्षिण दिशेने जाणारे आहेत ते सर्व पूर्व पश्चिम समृद्धी महामार्गाला जोडले जाणार आहेत. त्यामुळे समृद्धी महामार्गाद्वारे महाराष्ट्रातील सर्व जिल्हे एकमेकांशी जोडले जाणार आहेत. अशा राष्ट्रीय मार्गांवरून इंटरचेंजेसद्वारे द्रुतगती महामार्गावर प्रवेश मिळण्याचे नियोजन केले गेले आहे. त्यामुळे आजूबाजूची शहरे आणि छोटी गावे सुरक्षित वेगवान दळणवळणासाठी समृद्धी महामार्गाला जोडली जातात. याशिवाय द्रुतगती महामार्गावरच्या आजूबाजूची लहान गावे, खेडी आडव्या पुलांनी जोडली जातील. महामार्गाखालून गेलेल्या बोगद्यांमुळे शिवारे एकमेकांशी जोडलेली असते. असा हा विना अडथळा सुरक्षित गतिमान महाराष्ट्र समृद्धी महामार्ग. यातील काही इंटरचेंजेस पाशी नवनगरांचे नियोजन करण्यात येणार आहे, कारण त्याच इंटरचेंजेस मार्फत मोठी शहरे, गावे किंवा खेडी महाराष्ट्र समृद्धी महामार्गाने जोडलेली राहतील. अशा इंटरचेंजेसच्या जवळच्या ठराविक मोकळ्या अविकसित भूभागावर, जसं या जागी किंवा या भागात, इथे किंवा असे या भागात आत्तापासूनच सुनियंत्रित पद्धतीने नवनगर विकसित करावयाचे नियोजन आहे. महामार्ग आणि त्यावरील इंटरचेंजेस याच्या जवळपासच्या मोकळ्या जमिनीवर आतापासूनच एकत्रितपणे सुनियोजित पद्धतीने नवनगरे निर्माण केल्यानंतर आसपासच्या छोट्या अविकसित खेड्यातील नागरिक उज्ज्वल भविष्य तेथेच घडवू शकतील. यासोबतच गतिमान दळणवळणामुळे त्यांचा मोठ्या शहरांसोबत संबंध वाढता राहील व अधिक दृढ होईल. अशी संकल्पित नवनगरे म्हणजेच ग्रामीण विकासाला चालना देणारी कृषी समृद्धी केंद्रे असतील.
So this is about how the Samruddhi Mahamarg will develop. Then again I would like to play.
तो दोस्तों फाइनली महाराष्ट्र स्टेट रोड डेवलपमेंट कॉर्पोरेशन ने 8 अक्टूबर 2020 को अनाउंसमेंट की कि उनका जो मोस्ट प्रेस्टिजियस प्रोजेक्ट है मुंबई नागपुर एक्सप्रेसवे वो व्हीकलर मूवमेंट के लिए मई 2022 तक पूरी तरह से ऑपरेशनल कर MSRDC ने ये भी कहा कि एक बार ये एक्सप्रेसवे पूरी तरह से बन जाने के बाद लोग यहाँ पर मुंबई से नागपुर के बीच की यात्रा केवल 8 घंटे के भीतर ही कर सकेंगे। और यहाँ पर राधेश्याम मोपलवार, जो कि वाइस चेयरमैन और मैनेजिंग डायरेक्टर है, उन्होंने कहा कि ये जो एक्सप्रेसवे है 701 किलोमीटर लंबा कॉरिडोर, इसमें से 152.17 किलोमीटर का जो स्ट्रेच है वो ऑलरेडी पूरी तरह से कंप्लीट हो चुका है। बता दें कि इस एक्सप्रेसवे को 3 चरणों में ऑपरेशनल किया जाएगा और यहाँ पर लगभग 520 किलोमीटर का जो स्ट्रेच है बिटवीन नागपुर एंड शिरडी वो ऑपरेशनल हो जाएगा बाय मई 2021। और फिर उसके बाद जो शिरडी और इगतपुरी वाला स्ट्रेच है वो 100 किलोमीटर लॉन्ग, उसका कंस्ट्रक्शन कंप्लीट हो जाएगा उसके अगले 6 महीने बाद, यानी कि दिसंबर 2021 तक ये स्ट्रेच भी पूरी तरह से कंप्लीट हो जाएगा। दूसरी तरफ देखा जाए तो MSRDC 500 किलोमीटर लंबे एक ग्रीनफील्ड कोंकण एक्सप्रेसवे पर विचार कर रहा था, जिसके लिए यहाँ पर अधिकारियों ने कंसल्टेंसी सर्विस और डिटेल प्रोजेक्ट रिपोर्ट तैयार करने के लिए एक रिक्वेस्ट भी जाहिर किया है। और इसी साल मार्च के पहले MSRDC द्वारा कहा गया था कि वो प्लानिंग कर रहे एक 6 लेन एलिवेटेड हाईवे को कंस्ट्रक्ट करने के लिए बिटवीन सायन पनवेल, जिसकी वजह से जो यहाँ पर ट्रैफिक कंजेशन हमेशा हो जाता है उससे राहत मिल सके। लेकिन फिर बाद में मार्च के बाद पैंडेमिक के आउटब्रेक होते ही कंट्री लॉकडाउन में चली गई, जिसकी वजह से जो भी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोजेक्ट्स थे वो होल्ड पर चले गए। लेकिन अब सिविक अथॉरिटीज फिर से इन जो भी एसेंशियल प्रोजेक्ट्स है उनको प्रॉपर प्रिकॉशंस और सैनिटाइजेशन से फिर से शुरू किया जा रहा है। और यहाँ पर बात सायन पनवेल हाईवे की चली रही है, तो लेट मी टेल यू इन शॉर्ट कि ये जो सायन पनवेल हाईवे है वो काफी ज्यादा कंजेस्टेड हो जाता है, जिसकी वजह से यहाँ पर अक्सर ट्रैफिक जैम की दिक्कत आ जाती है। और इसी की वजह से MSRDC ये जो एग्जिस्टिंग हाईवे है इसे वाइडनिंग के साथ साथ यहाँ पर एक 6 लेन एलिवेटेड रोड बनाना चाहती है बिटवीन खारगर एंड तुर्क एट अ कॉस्ट ऑफ 1222 करोड़ रुपीस। तो इस न्यू एलिवेटेड रोड की लेंथ होगी 5.4 किलोमीटर की और इसमें से अकेले 2.5 किलोमीटर जो स्ट्रेच है वो टनल से पास होगा। इस प्रोजेक्ट के लिए 305 करोड़ रुपीस फंड किए जाएंगे सिडको द्वारा और 153 करोड़ रुपीस फंड किए जाएंगे महाराष्ट्र इंडस्ट्रियल डेवलपमेंट कॉर्पोरेशन और MSRDC के द्वारा, और बचा हुआ 50% कॉस्ट लोन के तहत प्रोक्योर किया जाएगा। और एक रीसेंट स्टडी IDFC इंस्टीट्यूट द्वारा उसने बताया था कि एक मुंबई कर औसतन 11 दिन ट्रैफिक जैम में ही गुजार देता है और मानसून के टाइम में ये कंडीशन और भी खराब हो जाती है। इसका मुख्य कारण ये भी है कि मुंबई में पिछले 10 सालों से जिस तरह से सड़कों का निर्माण हुआ है उससे 10 से 20 गुना ज्यादा तेजी से यहाँ पर व्हीकल्स की संख्या बढ़ी है और पिछले 5 सालों में यहाँ पर व्हीकल्स की संख्या 50% ज्यादा तेजी से बढ़ी है। So the civic authorities really need to get serious about this और जितने भी इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोजेक्ट्स है उन्हें जल्द से जल्द कंप्लीट करना चाहिए और फ्यूचर के लिए और भी नए इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर प्रोजेक्ट्स प्लान करने चाहिए, क्योंकि पूरे महाराष्ट्र में जितने व्हीकल्स है उसमें से अकेले 22% व्हीकल्स मुंबई में है। तो बस इतना ही। होप यू एंजॉयड दिस वीडियो एंड टू नो मोर अबाउट मुंबई नागपुर एक्सप्रेसवे होगा 10 डिस्ट्रिक्ट्स, 26 तहसील और 390 विलेज से, और जहाँ पे आपको पहले 14 से 15 घंटे लगते थे तो वहीं पे एक बार ये एक्सप्रेस हाईवे बन जाने के बाद आपको बस 8 घंटे का समय लगेगा। तो इस पूरे प्रोजेक्ट की कुल लागत 46,000 करोड़ रुपीस की होने वाली है और इसके लिए जो लैंड एक्वायर करना है वो है 8,603 हेक्टेयर्स का। और अच्छी बात तो ये है कि अकॉर्डिंग टू द लेटेस्ट अपडेट्स 87% ऑफ लैंड ऑलरेडी एक्वायर कर लिया गया है और ये प्रोजेक्ट हमारे भारत के लिए काफी अहम होने वाला है। और लॉकडाउन की वजह से थोड़ी दिक्कत तो आई है, लेकिन फिर भी इसका निर्माण तेज गति से चल रहा है। अभी नागपुर वर्धा जिले में 31 किलोमीटर और औरंगाबाद जिले में 54 किलोमीटर का निर्माण कार्य मेगा इंजीनियरिंग इंफ्रास्ट्रक्चर कंपनी द्वारा किया जा रहा है और इस प्रोजेक्ट के लिए स्पेशली जर्मनी से स्पेशल पेमेंट क्वालिटी कंक्रीट मशीन्स लाई गई है। इस मशीन की सबसे खास बात यह है कि ये 15 मीटर चौड़ी सड़क बना देती है। इसके साथ ही इस प्रोजेक्ट में 250 मीटर्स के 2 टनल्स भी बनाए जाएंगे। और इस एक्सप्रेस हाईवे की एक और स्पेशलिटी है कि यहाँ पर ना हर 7 किलोमीटर पे एक अंडरपास बनाया जाएगा और हर 10 किलोमीटर पे एक ओवरपास भी बनाया जाएगा। जब ये प्रोजेक्ट का निर्माण पूरा हो जाएगा तब यहाँ गाड़ियाँ 150 किलोमीटर प्रति घंटे की रफ्तार से दौड़ सकेंगी और इस प्रकार का एक्सप्रेस हाईवे हमारे पूरे भारत में ऐसा पहला एक्सप्रेस हाईवे होगा। तो अब मैं आपको कुछ कूल 10 फैक्ट्स बताऊंगा इस प्रोजेक्ट के बारे में। सो लेट्स बिगिन। तो दोस्तों, अगर आपको मुंबई टू औरंगाबाद जाना है तो फिलहाल तो आपको 7.5 घंटे का समय लग जाएगा, लेकिन इस एक्सप्रेस हाईवे के साथ आपको बस 4 घंटे का ही समय लगेगा और सेम केस विद औरंगाबाद टू नागपुर भी, जहाँ पे आपको बस 4 घंटे का ही समय लगेगा। मुंबई नागपुर सुपर कम्युनिकेशन एक्सप्रेस हाईवे, इसे महाराष्ट्र समृद्धि महामार्ग यूं ही नहीं कहा जाता क्योंकि ये बस नागपुर और मुंबई को ही कनेक्ट करेगा, बल्कि ये हमारे देश के सबसे बड़े कंटेनर पोर्ट यानी कि JNPT को भी कनेक्ट करेगा। इस एक्सप्रेस हाईवे से जो माल ढुलाई का काम है उसमें काफी तेजी भी आ जाएगी, जिससे हमारी इकोनॉमी भी काफी तेज ग्रो करेगी। ये एक्सप्रेस हाईवे इंटरनेशनल लेवल का होगा क्योंकि इसमें इंटरनेशनल स्टैंडर्ड्स जो भी डिजाइन के स्टैंडर्ड्स है वो फॉलो किए गए हैं, जहाँ पे इसकी विड्थ को 120 मीटर्स का रखा गया है और इसका जो सेंट्रल मीडियन है वो 22.5 मीटर का है। साथ ही में इसमें 8 लेन्स होंगे, 4 लेन्स ऑन ईच साइड, और इसके बीच में एक प्रोविजन भी किया जाएगा जिसमें फ्यूचर में अगर यहाँ पे ज्यादा ट्रैफिक बढ़ता है तो इसके लेन्स को और भी बढ़ाया जा सकता है। इस पूरे हाईवे में 50 फ्लाईओवर्स, 24 इंटरचेंजेस, 5 से भी ज्यादा टनल्स, 300 प्लस पेडिस्ट्रियन अंडरपासेस एट स्ट्रेटेजिक लोकेशंस मौजूद होंगे। इस पूरे कॉरिडोर को जीरो फैटेलिटी महामार्ग भी कहा जा रहा है क्योंकि यहाँ पर सेफ्टी का काफी ज्यादा ध्यान रखा गया है। यहाँ पर पूरे कॉरिडोर पे CCTV सर्विलेंस की जाएगी और फ्री टेलीफोन बूथ्स भी लगाए गए हैं हर 5 किलोमीटर पे, सो दैट इमरजेंसी की सिचुएशन में यहाँ पे रिपोर्टिंग आसानी से हो सके। इस पूरे कॉरिडोर में काफी बेहतरीन फीचर्स भी होंगे जैसे कि इम्प्रूव टनल लाइटनिंग, ब्रिज ब्यूटिफिकेशन, एक्सटेंसिव लैंडस्केपिंग, इम्प्रूव स्ट्रीट लाइटनिंग, रेन वाटर हार्वेस्टिंग और साथ ही में डिजिटल साइनेज के फीचर्स भी मौजूद होंगे। इस पूरे हाईवे की सबसे खास बात यह है कि अगर वॉर लाइक सिचुएशन हो या फिर इमरजेंसी के हालात हो तो यहाँ पर फाइटर जेट्स भी आसानी से लैंड हो सकते हैं। ये एक्सप्रेस हाईवे काफी इंपॉर्टेंट टूरिस्ट डेस्टिनेशंस को भी कनेक्ट करता है, जैसे कि पेंच नेशनल पार्क, टडोबा टाइगर रिजर्व, रामटेक, रामधाम कल्चर थीम पार्क, सेवाग्राम, चिखलदरा, लोनार, शेगांव, अजंता, वेरल, दौलताबाद, गौतला वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरी, बीबी का मकबरा, शिरडी, पांडवलेनी केव्स, त्रिंबकेश्वर शिव टेम्पल, सूला वेनियार्ड्स और तानसा वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरीज। तो देखा आपने कितने सारे इंपॉर्टेंट टूरिस्ट डेस्टिनेशंस को यहाँ पर ये हाईवे कनेक्ट कर रहा है, जिसके कारण यहाँ पर देखा आपने कितने सारे वेरल, दौलताबाद, गौतला वाइल्ड लाइफ सेंचुरी।
So this is the main features or advantages of this particular project. So today we will stop here. One notice from my side, if anybody are interested, localize, come in the college and donate your blood, okay. And second thing is that if you have the pending fees November, December, then you have to clear your fees. And the third instruction from my side is that as you know that CA2 will be conducted from 15 December, okay. So our paper is on 18. There are 2 modules, module number 4 and 5. So I will upload all the details regarding about that module in the form of PPT and other important you can say reading materials on the same Microsoft Team, okay. You can download, you can easily access. So this is the instruction. So if anybody having any questions right now, you can ask regarding about blood donation, CA2 or the pending fees. If anybody is having any question, please ask right now.